Tyler Rake is dead. At least, that's what everyone thought after he fell off that bridge in Dhaka with a bullet in his neck. His body floats downstream like a ghost, blood mixing with the river water, until Nick Khan's team pulls him out. They rush him to Dubai, where doctors work miracles keeping his heart beating. For months, Tyler lies in a coma while Nick sits by his bedside, refusing to give up on the man who never gave up on anyone else. When he finally opens his eyes, he doesn't feel like a miracle. He feels like a man who was supposed to die but somehow cheated death one more time. 9 months later, Tyler has retired to a remote cabin in Austria. No missions, no bullets, no more children to save. He's done. Nick and her brother Yaz visit sometimes, trying to convince him that he deserves this peace, but Tyler knows the truth. Peace doesn't exist for men like him. Men who abandon their families when they're needed most. Men who choose war over watching their son die. So he sits in his cabin, staring at snow-covered mountains, waiting for something to give his broken life meaning again. Then a stranger shows up at his door. The man is smooth, confident, mysterious. His name is Alcott, and he doesn't waste time with small talk. He has a job offer. Tyler's ex-wife Mia needs help. Her sister Ketevan is trapped in hell, and Tyler is the only one who can get her out. At first, Tyler refuses. He's done being a hero, done saving people, done pretending he can fix anything when he couldn't even save his own son. But then Alcott explains the situation, and something inside Tyler breaks all over again. Ketevan married into the Nagazi, Georgia's most powerful criminal organization. Her husband Davit and his brother Zurab run an empire built on violence, fear, and absolute loyalty. After Davit killed a DEA agent, the Americans made sure he couldn't bribe his way out of prison. So, Davit did something monstrous. He forced his wife and 2 children, Sandro and Nina, to move into the prison with him. Not as visitors, as prisoners. They live in a cell, haven't seen sunlight in weeks, and Davit beats Ketevan whenever she talks about leaving. Their son Sandro watches his father's brutality every day, being brainwashed into thinking this is what family looks like. Their daughter Nina clutches a teddy bear and tries to remember what freedom felt like. Tyler calls Nick Khan to tell her he's taking the job. Nick thinks he's lost his mind. She tells him to look at himself. You're physically broken, still recovering from injuries in Dhaka, not ready for a fight, let alone a war. She tells him it's suicide, but Tyler insists he needs a reason to live, or maybe a good reason to die. Seeing that she can't stop him, Nick finally relents. She's loyal to the end. If he's going into the fire, she's not letting him burn alone. The prison is a fortress. It sits in the mountains, surrounded by Nagazi loyalists, corrupt guards, and hundreds of violent inmates. But Tyler has done impossible before. They bribe a guard inside the prison to mark a safe route and turn off the security cameras. The plan is simple. Get in quietly, grab Ketevan and the kids, get out before anyone notices they're gone. Of course, nothing ever goes according to plan. Tyler enters the prison in the middle of the night, moving through dark corridors like a shadow. He reaches Ketevan's cell and finds her awake, terrified, hoping this nightmare is finally ending. She wakes up Sandro and Nina, telling them to get dressed quickly. But Sandro is confused. Where's his father? Why are they sneaking away like criminals? Ketevan lies, saying Davit is waiting outside because she knows her son has been poisoned by his father's ideology. As they creep through the prison corridors, Nina accidentally drops her doll. It hits the ground and makes noise. A prisoner sleeping nearby wakes up. He sees Tyler and the family escaping. He doesn't stay quiet. He starts shouting, making noise, alerting everyone around him. Other prisoners wake up, the commotion spreads, and the alarms begin to blare. Their cover is blown. Suddenly, the entire prison erupts into chaos. Inmates start rioting, guards start shooting, and Tyler realizes this quiet extraction just became a war zone. What follows is pure, unrelenting chaos, shot in one continuous take. The camera never cuts. It follows Tyler, Ketevan, and the children as they fight through the prison corridors. Tyler battles inmates and guards, his fists breaking bones, his gun dropping bodies. Ketevan stays close, protecting her children, while Tyler clears a path. Tyler quickly hands Sandro and Nina over to Nick, but then Davit catches Tyler and Ketevan in the boiler room maintenance tunnels. He's furious, murderous. He knocks Ketevan unconscious with a metal pipe and prepares to finish her off. Tyler intervenes, and they fight hand-to-hand in those dark, cramped tunnels. It's brutal, vicious, 2 men fighting with everything they have. Tyler breaks Davit's hand, splitting it lengthwise, then stabs him in the neck. Ketevan wakes up just in time to smash her husband's head with the same pipe he used on her. The monster who imprisoned her is finally dead. Now they have to move. They push forward into the main prison yard, and what they find is absolute chaos. Hundreds of rioting prisoners fill the courtyard, all of them seeing Tyler as their enemy. He fights through them anyway, taking hits, giving worse, refusing to stop. The one-shot sequence continues as they battle their way out of the prison. But there's no time to process what just happened. Zurab, Davit's brother and co-leader of the Nagazi, has arrived with his army. He's out for blood. Tyler and Ketevan fight their way to the prison exit, where Nick is waiting with cars. They jump in and speed away, but Zurab's forces are right behind them. The car chase tears through Georgian forests, bullets flying, vehicles crashing. The one-shot sequence continues seamlessly from the prison escape into this high-speed pursuit. Sandro, sitting in the back seat, slowly realizes his father isn't coming. He pieces together the truth. His dad is dead, and the man driving this car killed him. They reach an armored train waiting at an industrial complex. This was always part of the backup plan. Get on the train, ride it to safety, escape across the border. But Zurab isn't giving up. He sends 2 helicopters after them. Tyler climbs onto the roof, grabs a machine gun, and fights back. He shoots down one helicopter. The other one lands soldiers on the train itself. Nick fights them off inside while Tyler battles them outside. The train speeds through a tunnel, the walls so close they nearly crush him. He keeps fighting anyway. The one-shot sequence finally ends as the train derails in a massive explosion of metal and fire. Somehow, miraculously, they all survive the crash. Tyler pulls everyone out of the wreckage, and they board a plane to Vienna. On the plane, Sandro sits in silence, processing everything. His father is dead. His entire life was a lie. The Nagazi aren't heroes. They're monsters, but he's been raised since birth to be one of them. Loyalty to the family is everything. His uncle, Zurab, despite being a murderer, is still his blood. And Tyler is the enemy who destroyed his world. So when they land in Vienna and take refuge in a high-rise building, Sandro makes a choice that will haunt him forever. He secretly calls Zurab and tells him exactly where they are. Ketevan finds out what her son did and is heartbroken. She risked everything to save him, and he just betrayed her to the same monsters who tortured her for years. But before she can talk sense into him, Zurab's army arrives. They storm the high-rise building from every direction. Tyler, Nick, Yaz, and Ketevan fight back, but they're outnumbered 10 to 1. The building becomes a battlefield. Tyler fights through floors, stairwells, and rooftops, trying to protect everyone. In the chaos, Sandro panics and runs to Zurab. He chooses his blood family over his mother. The Nagazi forces swarm the building, cutting off their exit. They have no choice but to go up. They fight their way to the rooftop, aiming to escape in a helicopter. But during the brutal firefight on the roof, Zurab finds his mark. He shoots Yaz, Nick's brother. They drag Yaz's body into the helicopter and take off just as the enemy overwhelms the roof. They manage to escape, but as they fly away from the burning building, the silence in the cabin was deafening. Her partner, her family, collapses in front of her. She screams, desperate to save him, but he's already gone. Nick's world shatters. They return to Tyler's cabin in Austria. Mia, Tyler's ex-wife, is waiting there. She hasn't seen Tyler in years, not since their son died and their marriage fell apart. The reunion is painful, heavy with guilt and unspoken words. That night, while everyone else sleeps, Tyler and Mia finally have the conversation they've avoided for years. She asks him the question that's been destroying her since their son's death. Why didn't you stay? Why did you leave us when we needed you most? Tyler tries to deflect. He mumbles about duty, deployment, orders, but Mia cuts through the excuses. She calls it what it is, cowardice. He ran away to Afghanistan because watching his son die from lymphoma was too painful. He couldn't fix it, couldn't save him, so he abandoned them both. Tyler finally admits the truth. He was a coward. He chose war over his family because at least in war, he understood the enemy. At least in war, he could fight back. Watching his son fade away, powerless to stop it, was harder than any battlefield. Mia doesn't forgive him, but at least she finally understands. Their conversation is interrupted by a phone call. It's Zurab. He's at an airfield with Sandro, and he wants Tyler to come alone. No backup, no tricks, just Tyler. Because Zurab can't live knowing the man who killed his brother is still breathing. Tyler knows it's a trap, but he goes anyway. Nick wants to come, but Tyler refuses. He's lost too many people. He won't lose her too, but Nick lost her brother. She deserves revenge. Tyler arrives at the airfield and systematically destroys every vehicle, every escape route. He finds Zurab and Sandro in an abandoned church on the edge of the airfield. Sandro is wearing an explosive vest. Zurab hands the boy a gun and tells him to shoot Tyler. Sandro stands there, tears streaming down his face. He finally understands. His father wasn't a hero. His uncle isn't protecting him. They're using him. His mother was the bravest person in his life. She stayed in that prison, endured beatings and humiliation, all to protect him and Nina, and he betrayed her. He points the gun at Tyler, but can't pull the trigger. Sandro has finally chosen a side. Zurab, furious, activates the bomb vest. Nick arrives just in time. Sandro snatches the remote from Zurab's hand and scrambles away. Tyler and Zurab fight with everything they have. This isn't tactical combat. This is two men trying to murder each other with anything they can find. Hammers, saws, chains, boxes of nails. They beat each other bloody in that church, while Sandro watches in horror. This is what the Nagazi really are. Violence, hatred, destruction. Tyler finally overpowers Zurab and kills him. Nick disarms the vest seconds before it explodes. Sandro hero is safe, but he'll carry this guilt forever. The Georgian police arrive and arrest Tyler and Nick. They're taken to prison, awaiting trial for the destruction they caused. Mia visits him in prison. Mia says something that breaks Tyler in the best way possible. She tells him about their son's final days. Tyler thinks his son died hating him, feeling abandoned. But Mia reveals the truth. Their son wasn't angry. He was proud. He told everyone his dad was a hero, saving people, making the world better. His last words weren't about feeling abandoned. They were about wanting to be brave like his father. Tyler sits in that prison cell, tears streaming down his face, finally understands that his son died, believing in his father, and maybe, just maybe, Tyler can finally forgive himself. Later, Tyler and Nick are taken from their cells, but instead of a trial, they're brought to a black SUV where Alcott is waiting. He offers them a deal. Work for him, work for his mysterious boss, take on missions no one else can handle. It's not freedom, exactly, but it's a second chance. Tyler looks at Nick. She lost her brother because of him, but she's not walking away. They're in this together. Tyler nods. He's not done saving people yet. The screen cuts to black. Tyler Rake survived Dhaka. He survived the bridge. He survived death itself. But more importantly, he's learned something his son knew all along. Being a hero isn't about never failing. It's about getting back up every time you fall. It's about fighting for people, even when you don't think you deserve redemption. And if you haven't seen my Extraction 1 recap yet, check the end screen right now. You don't want to miss how Tyler's journey began. If you enjoyed this recap, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Extraction 3 is coming, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next.